Welcome to AI Bedtime Stories. Today I will be narrating a story called The Constellation Clock. If you like these bedtime stories, please feel free to leave a comment. The story begins now. In the bustling town of Stellarton, every resident had a peculiar heirloom, an ornate pocket watch, gifted to each child on their 10th birthday. They were called the Constellation Clocks, and each clock face, rather than numbers, displayed 12 unique constellations. Amara had just turned 10 and was thrilled when she received her very own constellation clock. Its craftsmanship was unparalleled, with a deep blue face and shimmering stars that seemed to twinkle. That night, she curiously wound the clock's delicate hands to align with her favorite constellation, Orion. As the two hands touched the constellation, the room around her spun, and a dizzying sensation overtook her. When the world finally came into focus, Amara found herself standing under a vast, open sky dominated by the very constellation she had chosen. It wasn't Stellarton anymore. She had been transported to a different time and place, where Orion wasn't just a constellation but a thriving city-state. The people of Orion greeted her warmly. They were dressed in celestial garments, shimmering and reflecting the stars above. They spoke of time as if it were a tangible fabric and revered constellations as both their history and guide. The ruler of Orion, an elegant woman named Lyria, explained to Amara that the constellation clocks had the power to transport their bearers to various epochs where each constellation ruled the land. Lyria spoke of an impending cosmic event that threatened to rip apart the fabric of time. The constellations were misaligned, causing time loops and anomalies. The only way to set things right was to visit each constellation state and retrieve a star shard. Aligning them all would stabilize time. Seeing her determination, Lyria entrusted Amara with this task. And so, Amara began her quest. With each alignment of her clock, she visited Cassiopeia's courts, scaled Draco's mountains, and dined with the celestial beings of Ursa Major. Each adventure was unique, filled with challenges and wonders, but from each, she collected a star shard. However, as Amara neared the end of her journey, she realized something perplexing. Each time she retrieved a shard, memories of her adventures began to fade. And with every new constellation she visited, she found herself back in Orion, being assigned the quest by Lyria for the very first time. Confused and desperate to break the cycle, Amara sought the wisdom of the oldest being in the constellations, the Timekeeper. The Timekeeper, an ancient entity made of stardust and cosmic energy, revealed to Amara that the loop was a protection mechanism of the clocks. Time was fragmented, and without the completed quest, it would remain so. But the quest was impossible to complete in one cycle, hence the loop. The key, the Timekeeper whispered, was to remember. Amara needed to recall her journeys, the friends she made, and the lessons she learned, for only then would the star shards reveal their true power. Determined, Amara retraced her steps. With every loop, she etched her memories deeper, leaving notes for her future self, creating markers and symbols. Cycle after cycle, her memories grew stronger, and the once fading adventures became vivid. Finally, armed with the knowledge of countless journeys, Amara aligned the star shards. A brilliant light emanated from them, stitching the fabric of time. As the constellations in the sky realigned, Amara found herself back in her room in Stellarton, her constellation clock in hand. Years passed, and the tale of Amara's adventures became legendary in Stellarton. But one day, a young resident, curious and bold, aligned their constellation clock to Orion, and Amara, now an old woman, smiled knowingly. For in Stellarton, time was never just a straight line, and adventures, much like constellations, always awaited those who dared to look up.